Hello again, class. I apologize for the break in communication at the end of the last part of the recording. Just to go back to this difference between capitalism and communism. You'll recall we said that communism refers to the state of the economy where the government takes control of all sources of wealth. There's no free enterprise. Basically, there's almost nothing that belongs to the individual. Now, capitalism is the complete opposite. And the American economy is the best example of that and was the best example of that. So let's just talk a little bit about how the Americans became so rich and how did they become the most powerful capitalist nation in the world. When the First World War ended in 1918, while the rest of Europe was suffering, America, which was thousands of kilometers away, was fairly safe. America had given loans to many European countries, and those countries needed to start paying back the loans. And one of those countries was actually Germany, although Germany lost the war and was an American enemy. They too had borrowed money. So America built its wealth on, number one, recalling its loans from many European countries. Number two, it had supplied much of the ammunition, the arms, and the military needs to the European nations during World War I. So having sold these products, the Americans had been able to accumulate vast amounts of wealth. And then there arose a new period in American history known as the Roaring Twenties. This is 2 years after World War I ended. Now, the Roaring Twenties was a time of great excitement, which we will come to later. But just to go further with this difference between capitalism and communism, you will find that even with yourself, you will seriously consider whether you prefer a capitalist or a communist economy. Now, we may all think, oh yes, I want to become very rich, but it comes with its disadvantages. So you have to consider which group of people would want capitalism and who would favor communism. Once again, there's an activity for you, as you notice on the screen, and there are just 3 questions linked to this activity. The first states, list 3 differences between capitalism and communism. Now here is the first time in this online class where I'm going to show you how to answer this type of question. It says, list 3 differences between capitalism and communism. We've spoken previously about the meanings of words in questions. For example, the word list. List is different from explain or discuss. When you think of the word list, think of a grocery list. In a grocery list, you do not give details. You merely put down simple words, sometimes 1 or 2 words, in order to state what it is you want to purchase. Here again, you are listing. There's no need for detailed explanations, but very importantly, you're asked to list the differences between capitalism and communism. When you are asked to show differences, it's important to use linking words. Now, what is a linking word? An example will be the word while, W-H-I-L-E, or whereas, W-H-E-R-E-A-L. AS. Let's look at an example. I'm going to do the first one with you, the difference between capitalism and communism. One of the differences between capitalism and communism is that in a capitalist country, people are allowed to accumulate as much wealth as they wish for personal use. Whereas in a communist country, people accumulate wealth not for their own personal needs, but rather to hand over to the state for use by the general population. The state distributes the wealth, in other words. Now, this kind of elaboration may sound like it's too detailed, but I did not explain the differences, which is very different from listing. Likewise, you will list 3 differences that I have not included in my answer. The second question states, which class of people favor capitalism and who favors socialism or communism, and why? Please note there are 3 parts to this answer. Each one must be answered separately, and always remember to space your work out properly. The third question, think about our country. Do we have a capitalist or a communist economy? Here you will have to consider whether people are allowed private ownership or whether everything that is produced is taken over by the government for redistribution to the general population. I'd like you to also give me a few examples to support your answer. This now ends the second part of our discussion, where we are introducing the events that are building up towards the Wall Street crash of 1929 in the United States and the Great Depression that followed.